It's Sports Medicine Month, and we're on your side on call with the fine folks at the Highland Clinic. Joining us now is Dr. George Byram III, an orthopedic surgeon with the Highland Clinic, specializing in sports medicine and general orthopedics. Dr. Byram, we've seen each other a lot out there on the sidelines. I know you guys are vital in helping these athletes locally get back on the field and play the sport they love. We wanted to ask you about rehabilitation. You know, we see injuries on the field all the time, and the role you guys play on helping them get back into playing shape.
Yeah, luckily, most of the injuries we see are non-operative. All right, so a lot of the injuries are sprains or subluxations of a shoulder or just bruises, nicks and bruises. They're not always surgical. They're not always problems we have to fix. And so our job is to decipher them, on the field, and if it's serious enough to figure out if they need to see us in clinic, and then we get them in clinic and give them a thorough evaluation with imaging. We also run a free Saturday morning injury clinic for all the athletes in the area. So if they're hurt or injured, they can come up there without a phone call, just show up, and we'll evaluate them for free and see if they need further in-depth treatment. And then that's when we involve physical therapists, the trainers, their parents, everyone's involved in their treatment. So.
And you have trainers spread out throughout the area with local teams, correct?
We do. We employ trainers throughout all of the schools and the architects we cover. So there's someone on the sideline, and sometimes, a lot of the times, even myself or some of my partners will be on the sideline with the trainer in order to more thoroughly assess the injury if need be. So.
And have you had a moment where, being out there at these schools with these kids, speaking with them, working with them, that's influenced your practice as a whole?
Oh man, it's just the great part of what we do is that we're able to see kids in the prime of their lives, the most active they'll ever be, and we're a part of their lives at that moment. But also years later, intramural sports, off to a D1 college to play, some of them even pro ball, they'll still come back to see you, visit you. You'll see their parents for injuries. And so you actually become an integral part of taking care of them and their family, and I think that's what makes it special about what we do, more so than others.
And you're kind of part of the team. I mean, you're there with them in some of their most difficult parts of their playing career, and I know they're very thankful, as we are. Now, thankfully, not a lot of operations, as you mentioned, are needed, but when they are, tell me about the minimally invasive operations you guys do.
Yeah, luckily, I don't want to see they're obsolete, but luckily some of the older techniques when we've had to make big incisions and big exposures of the joints are kind of gone. Now, there is still a role for that. But luckily, the newer techniques with the minimally invasive, smaller than a pinky size incision over some of these joints can be done. And that aids us in a lot of ways. It helps the athlete in that there's less soft tissue trauma. I'm not having to create a big envelope and a lot of scar going down to the joint. I can treat a lot of aspects of the joint from small incisions, which I can see with the camera. That allows less trauma, less blood loss. That allows quicker recovery on the back end when they're rehabbing. And so the whole gamut, the whole circle is a lot easier to complete when it's minimally invasive like that.
Well, I'm sure you guys know football season is here. I know y'all are very busy, so we appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And don't forget, our fine folks here with the Highland Clinic are on the phones waiting for your calls. The phone lines are open until 7 o'clock. They're here to answer your important questions. 861-5827, 861-KTBS, the number to dial. Again, those phone lines will be open until 7 o'clock.
3 Storm Team Doppler